Hey, this is Tom Calvin. Thanks for tuning in to Tomorrow's Legends.
In 2016, a new TV show hit the digital airwaves and needed a podcast dedicated to chronicling its adventures. An elite team has been assembled for this task. Unfortunately, the world's listeners have not heard of this Wonder Twin duo. And although they may not be known now, in the future they will be referred to as Tomorrow's Legends.
Oh, come on! I was totally pressing XXYY, up, down, up, down.
Clearly you weren't. I got my move off, though. Now you're in trouble.
Oh, that's it. I'm switching characters next match. I can fight better than this loser.
Maybe you should pay more attention to actually playing the game than cursing about it.
Finish her!
No! Don't do it. Please, don't do it.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Listen to you begging for mercy. Not this time, Buttercup.
Fatality. Scorpion wins.
And now, here are your hosts, the Scarlet Speedster himself, the Flash, and the Maid of Mischief, Harley Quinn.
Oh man, do you remember those days? XXYY, left, right.
I sure do.
You can't do that in the middle of a fighting game when you're like, I hated that stuff. It was so frustrating.
I don't know. I got pretty good at a couple of the finishing moves. I don't remember them now, but I did. I think I had Scorpions down and maybe Raidens down. But yeah.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat wasn't my favorite one. I liked Street Fighter, and my absolute all-time favorite fighting game was called Eternal Champions on the Sega Genesis. And it was, Sega had created their entire own cast of fighting characters and it just unique moves and everything. I found that one had way better story and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Eternal Champions, anyone out there recognize that? That'd be cool if I'm not alone on that one. But anyway, hello, Legendaires. Welcome back to Tomorrow's Legends. We're here for Season 5, Episode 6, Mortal Kombat. And I am the victorious Flash.
And I'm the losing Harley Quinn.
Hello, Legends.
Well, maybe I'll let you play Gideon next time, see if she can take you.
Oh, man, she'll probably beat me worse than you did.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't have to worry about muscle memory or anything like that.
Exactly. She's an AI. That's not fair.
So true. All right. You got a reminder here about next week.
Yes. Next week is a repeat due to presidential election festivities, if you will, down here in the States. So it's a repeat. I've already forgot which one they're playing. I think it's probably a repeat of the documentary episode, which was technically our first episode of the season. So we will be back with a new episode on March 10th.
Cool.
Yep.
Really, who's going to want to watch election footage? That's so boring.
I know.
Come watch Legends instead. Jeez.
Yeah, I think it's a big voting day too, so a lot of people might be at the polls and doing stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I gotcha. The other thing, we just want to keep continuing to remind you guys about our Patreon page. We definitely just want to have you guys we want to keep putting in your ear to support the show and support all the time, effort, and hard work me and Harley put in to get this episode each week out to you. We just so much appreciate it. And again, I just, as a reminder, it's $1 a month.
Yeah.
That's simple. People spend more than that on their coffees every day. And, if we could get 50 people spending $1 a month helping us with our show, we would do very well and be very appreciated. That everything would be covered for us.
It would go further than you realize. So
exactly.
Please and thanks.
If you'd like to support our podcast, you can do so at our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/tomorrowslegends.
All right, let's get to the general impressions of the show. What do you got today?
Oh, I think I'm a little down in the dumps today. I've had a little bit of a cold, and I'm hoping it's not bleeding through to my enjoyment of the show, but I gave this one a whopping 6.5. How did no one say the line, finish him? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's low.
That is low for you, but Yes, I can agree with that. How can nobody use that line? Come on.
I know. We got a Khan reference like to Star Trek, but not disappointing. Anyways.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess I was just expecting this episode because of the title. I was expecting it to be martial arts heavy, and especially with Katie Lotz directing it. I guess I just thought that she would lean more towards like martial arts. I don't know if she has a say in like the choreography as the director. Probably not. I guess that's more of like a writing choice. But I don't know. I just was expecting martial arts, and so I was disappointed with gunfire. And I am not gonna lie. I really didn't care for the scooter bit at all. I didn't like Nate like being impressed / obsessed with it. I didn't like the legends kind of following him around like a puppy dog and be like, oh my God, I want to turn. It just, the name, just all of it, it just was totally like cringeworthy for me. I was like, oh, please don't say it again. So I don't know. I really missed Mick and Sarah too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there's clearly some overlap. I mean, definitely with her directing this episode, that was a big thing. But then also with the Crisis filming as well, I'm assuming that's why we didn't have any Mick really at all this episode either. So I'm hoping they'll be back next. I don't know how long Crisis is really going to impact filming. I'm taking a page out of your book. I am completely uninvested in the Bayrod Charlie story romance. Like couldn't care less, and it took over like the entire episode. I was like, oh, this must be how Martin feels all the time. And taking another page out of your book, Khan, not menacing at all, did not dig what they did with him at all. I think by far the redeeming graces of this episode was everything with Constantine, even though it felt totally off brand for his character. I mean, I think so. Well, maybe not for parts of it. We'll get into it when we talk about Constantine. Okay. I'll explain what I mean further. But the interactions with him and Astra were fantastic, and I loved that. I love that actress, and I love their dynamic together. And so his last-ditch effort, like to kind of like kill himself as a negotiation tactic, was super cool. I dug all of those scenes, and I think that's what really brought the episode up for me.
Cool. It brought it up. Yes. So where was it? It brought it way up to 6.5. Exactly. Whoa. Climbing the charts.
I know. I wasn't really digging this episode. This one fell real flat for me. So I don't know. Can you bring me up a little bit, or how are you feeling about it?
Maybe. I don't know. We're kind of reversing roles, but you're kind of changing my whole perception of this episode. Why are you doing that? I kind of had fun with it, like you had fun last week with all the Marie Antoinette stuff, and I didn't. We're kind of opposite, but now I'm thinking about it, and I did feel this way later. I was just trying to stay a little more positive, but you are right. I'm actually pretty disappointed in the lack of action this episode. It did not live up to the name at all, like not even close. In fact, it didn't even draw on the video game or any of its popular mechanics. It felt more like The Matrix mixed with a Quentin Tarantino film, at least for the opening few moments anyway. Mm-hmm. What a letdown. Not to mention that we got totally hoodwinked.
Yes, we did.
Last episode ended with John dying and us being in complete shock, only to start this one with him being pretty okay still and, just kind of hanging on, fighting for his life. These last couple episodes filling in the Crisis gap are really kind of lacking, and it shows how much Sarah and Mick mean to the show and carry it on their backs, because they have been really missed.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
Yeah.
But there was some good stuff. Maybe this will help your feelings. There's some good stuff with the boys. I'm talking about Ray, Gary, and John, showing us their very odd but touching friendship that's developed between the three of them, because you would not ever imagine those three being buddies.
No.
And I will say this, finally, Charlie has something that almost garners my attention.
I'll give you that.
I still don't really care for the actress, but she has a story now that's right out of Greek mythology, and I love that kind of stuff. So we will see where it goes.
Cool. Well, then maybe you can shed some more light on some of the Greek mythology. I looked up a little bit of stuff, but it wasn't something I was overly familiar with. Like, I've heard of it, but I wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot about it. So
Well, if you want to know my love for Greek mythology, check out my Cybercast episode where I actually talked to 2 university professors who teach mythology, and we dive really deep into all of that. And it's fascinating. I'm passionate about the Greek gods. It's such cool stuff. So
That was a cool episode, I will say.
now for the scooters, it's funny that they had these scooters in here because I've actually been shopping for one, and that was the model I was looking at.
Ugh, no.
The
don't
one
get a
that Nate
scooter.
rides in on.
No. They're taking over the cities. They're a pain in the butt.
Are they?
Yes, they're everywhere.
Not up here. They're not. Nobody has one up here. Those and the what do they call them? The not boogie boards. There's a skateboard version.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of it now. But anyway, they're motorized skateboards as well, and it's neat. I mean, you can ride it normally or turn on the engine and away you go, and you can go for 20 miles on these things at 40 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, it was fun for me. I thought, oh man, that's the one I want to get. Cool. Oh, it comes with guns? Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I didn't care for this scooter bit at all. I was like, ugh, really? Scooters?
Well,
come on.
Yeah. There is some stuff I'll agree with you on that. We'll get to that point. So let's start it off with a typical Professor Harley history lesson here.
All right. So Encore of the Week was Genghis Khan. And I think most people are pretty familiar with this particular person, but I'm just going to give you a quick little overview that I borrowed from Britannica.com. And Genghis Khan, he was a warrior, and he was really kind of considered a genius. And he kind of had this like really weird beginning where he was just like part of a nomadic tribe, I guess, in Mongolia, and he was ruling it. And then he ends up like forming this entire empire and basically like turning everything into like he's like the world's first dictator. Well, maybe not the world's first dictator, but he was pretty brutal type of person. And so eventually, like once he's able to kind of like conquer all of his realm, he kind of starts spreading out. So I thought it was kind of believable that, given the fact that he ends up in 1997, by the time he can break out, that he would actually try to take over Hong Kong. Thought that was kind of interesting. So anyway, yeah, so that's who Genghis Khan was. He was a crazy man.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just fascinating what he was able to do. Because, I mean, the Mongol nomads, they're not known for controlling much land or having a massive army, especially not nowadays. So when you look back then to see what he grew, the empire he created, it's fascinating. And he was violent and brutal. And his armies just, if you didn't bend over to them, you're getting cut in half kind of thing.
Yeah, they did.
It's crazy, but fascinating history though, and I believe there is some old movies and stuff kind of made around his story, and it's pretty neat to see. Yeah.
If anybody's a hardcore history fan, I'm pretty sure that Dan Carlin did a whole block on Genghis Khan a while back. So that's also another resource if you're interested in that.
Cool.
But another little bit of history that I actually did not know at all, this really was happening in 1997, that Prince Charles had to visit China to basically hand power of Hong Kong back to the Chinese. I actually didn't realize Britain still, I guess, technically held control of Hong Kong until 1997. That's like crazy.
That's recent.
That's very
I had no
recent.
idea that either. Yeah.
So I didn't know about, I just didn't know about that. So they put that in the episode and I was like, huh, really? And so, I looked it up and confirmed. And it's funny, like a lot of the pictures from that day, you could kind of tell they were trying to recreate like the dress of Prince Charles and all that. It was decently well done. So actual fact really did happen. Did not know that.
Wow. Some reality in our show. What do you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, their history is usually decent. They usually try to, at least pick up on the seeds of history. And I thought this was kind of an interesting tidbit. I sort of already mentioned this, but how Genghis Khan, they dropped that he was trapped in his impenetrable tomb for like 700 years or something crazy. And so he finally is like able to dig out, which explains how he ends up in 1997. I was like, how in the world is Genghis Khan? I was like, is he time traveling? Like, how is this going to work? And so worked for me. Like I kind of got that. I mean, he's immortal, he can't die, and so it took him 700 years to dig himself out of his own too. I thought that was quite amazing, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to think about, and we have to hand wave a little bit is that how fast he's able to, get used to the ways of society today.
Yeah.
With technology, riding a motorcycle and speaking the language and all. I mean, okay, yeah, he was pretty darn smart, so maybe it wouldn't take him that long. Who knows? But still, it's just the fun part of it. It's one of those what if scenarios. What if Genghis Khan existed today? And
yes,
it would have been something I would like to have seen stretched out a little bit longer. I mean, with the history of Genghis Khan and what kind of person he was, I would love for them to have made him like a 2-part episode or something.
Yeah.
And really like showed him building an army and show him causing some trouble instead of just going the goofy route. Make it serious with the goofy in there, but make it a really hard hitting episode where he really causes some problems, because that's what he does. He builds up his empire and starts taking over. Like, that would have been great to see. That's what I was looking forward to, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed by like the lack of depth. And I think that's probably unfortunately going to be a theme maybe throughout this season, is the lack of depth of the villains, which is kind of disappointing because we've got some heavy hitting ones supposedly that are coming if they're going to stick with their coins. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. But
well, I can't think of many much heavier than him. Genghis Khan should have been one of their big ones. This should have been like the mid-season, boom, look at what we can do.
Stalin, Caligula,
yeah.
John Wayne Gacy, Charles Manson, Mary Tudor. There's some crazy names that were dropped, so we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. But while we're on Genghis Khan, let me just get this out of the way, because I actually do want to nitpick this, and we haven't been able to play this one in a while.
Form of water.
Because I do want to nitpick this whole Genghis Khan thing. It was way too easy to stop him. What a waste of a great villain. And like you had already said, I'm starting to lose interest in this whole Encore idea and what they're doing with it, because there's so much lost potential.
Yeah.
And Khan was the first really big one. Like I was saying, they could have done so much with, stretching out to 2 episodes, and the fact that they didn't do anything with him, hardly at all. And he was taken down so easy. I mean, he's got this really cool sword, which we didn't mention yet, that's his weapon that got brought back to him that he uses to send souls to hell for Astra. So, okay, it's a great looking sword, and we see him kill one person with it. That's it. He should have gotten into a fight with our legends, and they had to defend themselves against him and a sword. Let's see what Genghis Khan can do.
Yeah.
And nothing. Charlie just walks up to him and stabs him with his own sword without even trying, and it was such a lame scene, and really, really ticked me off that's how they're getting rid of Khan.
Yeah.
So that's my nitpick. Just how easy it was to get rid of Khan.
Yeah. I agree. I didn't think he was very menacing, so I don't know. He fell flat. A lot of this episode fell flat for me. Although while we're on that scene, I did think it was cool that Behrad finally learned, I guess, how to stop bullets with the wind. That's a trick I don't think we've seen before, so that was kind of cool. I did enjoy that. That was, just like a neat superpower he unlocked, I guess.
It was neat, but I found it kind of funny how long he stood there spinning his arms to hold the bullets in place. I mean, that was really drawn out. He could have just dropped the bullets and fired wind at the guys or whatever, but he just stayed there in place while Charlie's walking around talking to people. And it's like, okay, you don't have to keep them going. But yeah, at least he did something with it for sure. Yeah. And I wanted to ask, though, about him earlier in the scene and back to the beginning of the episode in the restaurant, when they're just kind of scoping the place out and they're all talking on the comms to each other. Why did the goons just suddenly open fire and start shooting at him? There's no reason to. There was no sense. He's just standing there looking like a normal restaurant patron, and they yelled something crazy and started shooting at him. Why?
I think he got too loud when he was saying Charlie, telling Charlie not to put herself in danger or whatever. I think he raised his voice too much. That's kind of where I was going with that, is that, he kind of broke character, and was like, no, Charlie, don't. And I think that's what tipped off the people. And
right.
And so yeah,
okay.
That, well, at least that's what I thought. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't, but.
Okay, I don't know. It just seemed to come out of nowhere to me. It's like, why him? He's just going to start killing restaurant patrons.
Yeah. Yeah. If not, then that was a bit out of left field. But yeah, it seemed to me like he got loud when he was like, no, Charlie, don't. And, that was loud enough that they, could hear him.
So you start shooting him because he's saying no, don't. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that action scene a little bit. I'm kind of curious what you felt about it overall, being we were expecting so much more, and here we get this big shootout sequence with all the guns and a lot of slow motion. And like I said, it felt very Tarantino Matrix kind of mashup to me. It was cool in some moments, and other moments it just was too much slow motion in the fight scene. For me, it lost the appeal fast. When you overuse slow motion, it loses the appeal. And especially when they use it on parts that you don't need slow motion, like scenes that don't need it, where there's nothing really that special going on, and you slow it down. Why? And one I want to pull up is like that drive-in scene with Nate when he's steeled up. Mm-hmm. He comes through the doors on a scooter, and he drives through the restaurant a few feet, and then he turns, changes direction to go at the bad guys, and all of a sudden he's able to slide all the way across the floor, taking them all out. There's no way he had enough momentum or speed to be able to do a maneuver like that. And you know me, I'm very critical of the action sequences, the choreography, and how they do this. A scooter like that does not have rocket boosters on it to accelerate that fast. To be able to slide 15, 20 feet across the floor, taking out a bunch of bad guys. It was just not well done. I guess you could make that a part of my nitpick as well. But and then the way that it ended when he kind of jumps up off his scooter and does that punch to the gut, I guess. It was such a lame punch. Come on, you guys. We've seen you do better choreography. That just didn't look good. Even his physical performance, it wasn't even a full-on punch. It looked bad. That's all I can say. It looked bad. You guys can do better.
Yeah, I'm not going to nitpick like choreography and stuff as much, just because like I don't really like notice those things, because that's definitely like not my background. But yeah, I was expecting, like I said, like more martial arts heavy, and so I guess when we got a gunfight, it wasn't like terrible, but I don't know. There were parts of it that I liked. Like I think it was kind of cool that Ava got her time to like kind of shine, and kind of was able to, I don't know, take the spotlight. Maybe a bad way to put it, but I liked kind of her role and her kind of bit in all of that. But yeah, I don't know. The Nate, getting to see Nate like do the steel trick was nice, because we actually, like got to see that, and it was a good use of his power. But
yes, bulletproof.
Yeah. But the sliding was a bit, I don't know. Overall it was okay. I wasn't overly impressed with anything in the episode, including the fight scene. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, what the flip side of the stuff that I'm complaining about, like you mentioned Ava, and I wanted to end that on a positive note. I did like everything Ava was doing. You could tell Jess McCallan was having so much fun with it.
Yeah.
And she was enjoyable. Her performance, just doing the as she's shooting it, like that was fun for her. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing her do all of that. So there is a flip side to all this. But who are those female cops that just show up and say, "We are the cops"?
I don't know. I thought that was really weird.
And they're just, who are these characters? They're completely random and completely strange, and then they all get killed anyway. I was like, like you said, it should have been more martial arts, and because Mortal Kombat, come on, make it about hand-to-hand fighting, not a gun shootout. It just had no connection there. But with Ava, the other thing I liked how earlier in the episode she was so proud of her invention with Gideon, the prognosticator.
Yes.
That's when the scooters come into play, which bothered you. It's like the scooters got all the attention, and Ava's like, "Come on, I make this really cool program to help us find out of place villains and nobody even cared. And I felt bad for her. Like Nate's yawning and nobody really cares. And she's trying so hard to be a legend and be helpful on this team. And that's like the second or third time now the team just doesn't care.
I know. Well, Ray appreciated it. He clapped. I liked that. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
He's the only one. He was like, oh, wait. That was good. Yeah,
So, yeah.
I liked that. I liked her invention. I thought it was clever, and it brought back Gideon a little bit more, a callback, to the inventions of prior seasons that, find our, whatever they are of the season, encores or magical creatures or whatever.
Magical creatures, or what were they before when they were acronyms? That's the word.
Yeah.
Anachronisms. Yeah.
Aberrations.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What happened to just time travel to fix things in time that are going wrong?
That was season 1.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Constantine a little bit.
All right. So apparently John was only mostly dead.
Yeah.
Which neither one of us was expecting. I was expecting that he had actually died and he would go down to hell and there would be some sort of showdown. So that was quite different from what I was expecting. Although I did still enjoy these scenes probably the most out of the entire episode.
Well, that and I was hoping Gary was going to have to go rescue him.
Yeah,
and make Gary a little bit of the hero.
Exactly. Yeah, we had talked about that, and that didn't really happen. But
No.
I did think it was kind of cool that when he goes down to purgatory, that he does have that countdown on his arm. I thought that was kind of a neat touch. I wish it was something we could see when he returns back to the real world, but I don't. I think that's only a down in purgatory kind of deal. Hey, your clock's almost out. As soon as you're out, you're going all the way down kind of thing.
Yeah, I wanted to pause it because before she sends him back up to the surface, you saw the clock on his arm rip way ahead. I don't know how many hours or days got added to his arm. I wanted to see that. I might have to pause that image and look at it to get us a number. Because, you don't see it again once he gets to the top.
No, yeah, you don't. Yeah, we should go back and look, or if anybody happened to catch it, you can let us know, because I wasn't sure if it landed on days, did it land on months? Did it land on years? What did she quote, give him back?
Well, 1 year, when you go into a big speech about something, I'll pull it up and see if I can find it.
Okay, I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of big speeches, but we'll see.
Well, the thing with the clock on his arm, what was cool is it's totally a rip from that Justin Timberlake movie, In Time. Did you ever see that one?
I didn't, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because they all had clocks on their arms. And apparently,
right.
I think the story was everybody only lives to 25. And after 25, you have to purchase time to extend your life. And you have to do that by doing jobs for the big corporations that are in charge of the clocks on the arms. But Justin Timberlake's character figures out a way to steal time from other people and trade time and whatever. It's a pretty cool sci-fi movie, one of his first ones when he got into acting, and it's neat.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, totally ripped right from there. Now, speaking of the clock, I just that scene when Astra says, can you change everything? Can you save her? And he says yes, and she opens up his coin again. Which I'll say right now, I was wrong. It was a coin. I thought it was a pendant, but this clearly made sure it was a coin. And it makes me wonder, do all of the coins have timers in them?
I think so. I think they all do.
Okay. That's crazy.
It's completely crazy. But yeah, I really do think they do. And I wonder if the Legends are going to figure that out.
Oh, in advance. Well, yeah.
And turn back the time on the encores.
On the encores, yeah. But back to when it happened to John, when she started rewinding his clock, that was friggin' crazy. If you actually watched that scene a couple times, it kind of shook me a little bit. It was shocking to see, and I give that all to the performance.
Oh, yeah.
Of John Constantine there, just that he could portray what that possibly could be like to be getting your life back by someone forcing the rewind on your death. An unbelievable performance, and that kind of shocked me. My jaw kind of hit the ground. I was like, holy crap, what? imagine what that would feel like. What that would, I can't. It just blew me away. And his performance was just amazing. I absolutely loved that one little spot.
Yes. No, I completely agree. And I feel like I say this a lot, but like Matt Ryan is one of like the best
Yes.
like physical actors. The physicality of what he does is like truly amazing. I mean, everything he did throughout his actual Constantine series, like all the different like possession and all the different things that he has to do, the magic, just the way he like portrays and embodies this character is truly amazing. And he does a really, really, really great job.
Yeah, exactly. And while you were, I had the
Sorry.
perfect time. That's okay. I found the scene with his arm and I'm looking at it right now. 7 years, 134 days, 19 hours, 3 minutes and 62 seconds. That's the last clip before he gets pulled to the surface. So he's got 7 years added to his life.
Interesting.
Oh, actually, hold on a second. I just advanced it a half a second more. 14 years. Okay, sorry. That's the very last screen cap I'm going to get. 14 years, 245 days, 33 hours, 22 minutes.
Okay, so that's more than he had because originally they said he had 10 years.
Yeah, so she gave him 14 years of life.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. I cannot get it any closer. That is the very last moment, split second of time before he gets pulled back.
Okay.
14 years.
14
Crazy.
years. That is so crazy. And that's 4 years more than he originally had.
Yeah, but she, of course, can speed it up again if she wants.
She
But
can.
I wonder if that's a writing trick to say, hey, if we are backdoor re-establishing Constantine show, he's now got time to
Got time. Yeah.
go do his own show. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That is cool though. Okay. Well, I'm glad you found that. All right. Well, I want to talk for a few minutes about the scenes with Ray, Gary, and Constantine. So I really enjoyed a lot of these scenes. And a lot of them were they were cute and like touching, but they were very, very legends to me. And these are
What do you mean by that?
It felt too like touchy-feely, like buddy. It just felt a little not out of place because it's the Legends TV show, obviously, but like in the John Constantine storyline, it just, I don't know. It's just something about it felt like a little off, a little not like Constantine. Like I feel like in the past few episodes, we've gotten the like gritty, almost back to like how his show felt. And then,
Okay, yeah, I feel you there.
and then this took a sharp turn back to Legends feel, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of like took me aback. And I did really like enjoy the scenes. It just, as it was nice to see John kind of like bonding with Ray and Gary, but at the same time, it really did feel kind of almost out of character. Not really, but I mean a little. I don't know. What did you like that?
Maybe I can change your mind on that because I think that is character growth for John Constantine because when you watch his series, he is hard, he's harsh, he's cold, but there always was this underlining compassion that he has towards certain people. He always the main characters in his show he took care of, he cared about them, he made sure to try to save them. And that's been brought over to here. And similar with the whole story about wanting to save Astra. Yes, he's hard-nosed and he likes to put on this whole show that he doesn't give a crap and anyone can just go kiss his ass, whatever. But I think that's because he suffered so much and people have, the people that he has tried to care for have also betrayed him. So I think he's very wary of giving people that trust again. And the thing is with this story where I think being with our Legends team, Ray and Gary, the two of those guys have really gone above and beyond trying to prove to John that he can trust him. He does have friends because he's said so many times about, I'm alone in this and I'll do it on my own and I don't need anybody. And, Ray and Gary just won't let that happen. They're like, no, we are here for you. You cannot do this on your own. We're your buddies. And I agree with you that we've finally been getting the darker side of John, because he didn't fit in Legends last season. By separating a story and giving us the dark stuff, it feels more original Constantine, which is great. But I think it's just a little bit of character growth that he is acknowledging that he's got two friends that are willing to go to battle with him, and he's acknowledging that maybe it's good to have some buddies. Because when's the last time he had a buddy? You know, I like it. I like it for him. I like that it opens him up a little bit and allows him to get some friendships, and, you know, he can maybe draw on that to help him finish his crusade that he's on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and I'm trying to, because that's what we got coming up in our clips, our quotes of the week. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to butter you up before we play those.
No. I mean, I liked the scenes. They were great. I mean, I enjoyed them. Like I said, these were some of my favorite parts of this entire episode. It just, for some reason, it was feeling not like quite Constantine to me, but not in a bad way.
Yeah. I just think they're growing him. He's changing a little.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, on a side note, I did absolutely, I don't know if he was like hallucinating it or what, but the conversation that he has with the bulldog on the cane was hilarious, and I absolutely loved it.
Well, I was going to ask you about that bulldog cane. Is that anything that we know about from his story, comic books or TV show wise at all?
Not that I remember, and I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't watch the episode live or like get on Twitter and do any like live tweeting. So I'm not sure if it was, but I could, I could do some digging, or if someone, you know, hey, if you know the answer, let us know.
Yeah, any listeners out there, post on our Facebook page or send in feedback about it. But if definitely just look into it and post a link if you find something on our Facebook page. I'm curious that the way he was talking to that bulldog head, I feel like it's a companion he's had for a long time, because the bulldog was giving him quite the harsh advice, like kind of kicking him in the ass.
It was.
And I have a feeling there's something there. And whether that's a spirit that he's trapped inside the cane, or I don't know. I think there's a story element there. I wonder if they're going to bring it back.
It would be interesting, but even if they don't, it was a very amusing scene. I did very much enjoy it.
Here's something I want to ask you about, though, because one of the scenes we see Nora, at least she gets to be on the show. She actually got to play two characters. She still got to play Marie Antoinette, and then she also got to be her fairy godmother. But that's the part that's intriguing to me, because her fairy godmother magic could not undo or reverse the magic from hell. And I find that interesting, because that's like a battle of magical powers. Which one is stronger? How does that all work? Why is her magic? Because her magic's pretty darn powerful as far as I know. Why could she not counter that? What is the difference? It's interesting. That I really would like to find out a little bit more of.
Yeah, and my theory is that it may have to do with the coin, maybe. And because like Astra had the ability to, you know, use the magic of the coin to like kind of rewind his time clock back, maybe that's why Nora couldn't counteract it with the type of magic she had. It was kind of the only thing that I was coming up with. And I don't know if it's necessarily like because it's in hell, or maybe just like that one lady that made the coins. Well, she's gonna have to come back, because, you know, Astra owes her some like big favor, so that's definitely gonna come back into play. So it may be interesting to learn more about her and maybe like her type of magic, because it seems like that coin was more powerful and kind of trumping Nora's magic.
Maybe it's something to do with the fact that it's control over your life or your spirit or your soul.
Maybe.
It's because it's directly in control with that magic can't affect it. Maybe it's not really considered magic. You're talking life and death here, which isn't really magical.
It's like your life force almost.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is. But still fascinating. I really hope they open up with that a little bit more for us.
Yeah, it was super interesting. All right. Shall we move on to the Loom of Fate?
Sure.
Cool. All right, so Charlie, as it turns out, I had a funny feeling this is where they were going with this, is one of the Fates. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
So as it turns out, she is the spinner. So she actually spun people's futures. And I wasn't too certain on my history, so I looked up a little bit of information about the Greek fates. So I'll share the little bit that I looked up, and then if you kind of want to expand on that, because I know you said you know a lot about this, so.
A little bit. I just added a couple extra thoughts here, but I think it's similar to what you're saying. But yeah, go for it.
All right. So the Greek faiths, they basically controlled the quote mother thread of life, and they kind of spun the life thread, if you will, of every mortal from birth to death. So they're independent. They're at the helm of necessity. They directed fate and watched the fate assigned to every being actually took its course without obstruction. So each of the 3 different fates has a different purpose. There's the spinner, who spins the lifeline. Then there's the allocator or allotter that basically cuts it. So like they determine like how long your life is. And then I think the last one determines when you die or something like that.
Yeah. So if I were to believe in any gods at all, I'd be believing these ladies and praying to them. Like,
right.
Give me a really long life.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you gave that's a lot of cool information. Now, she was the spinner. She was known as Clotho, and these are ancient Greek goddesses. She's one of the 3 sisters. The other sisters' names were Lachesis and Anthropos. I don't know if I'm right on the pronunciations, but they're known as the Fates of Morai. And they did create the loom, which gave her the power over human destiny, like you said. But with her, she actually didn't want it. She didn't want to be in control of people's lives, and she gave up the power, and she ran, which made enemies of her sisters, and her sisters have been hunting her ever since.
Yes.
And I'm pretty darn sure that's the voices we are hearing.
Yes.
Speaking to Charlie.
I'm pretty sure too.
Here's an interesting fact, though. Clotho and Princess Diana, otherwise known as Wonder Woman, are both daughters of Zeus and therefore are half-sisters. And Clotho actually created Wonder Woman's armor that she wears.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yes. Now, we have seen on our very own show here on Legends that Wonder Woman's island, Themyscira, actually exists because they dropped off, what was the name of the character they dropped off there? Helen of Troy. So this is a very cool connection to all of that Greek mythos.
That's cool. That would be neat if they brought it back.
Yeah. I don't know if they would ever bring Wonder Woman down to the show, but if they even just mentioned her or something, who knows? And this is why I think I'm suddenly, okay, I can be invested in this story for Charlie, because this is pretty darn cool. This is actual Greek mythology pulled right out of our history books. So I'm very curious to see where they go with it, and, the fun that they can have with it, connecting to the DC created Greek mythology with Wonder Woman and stuff. So yeah, it could be fun. It's a cool connection.
Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely liked these little tidbits that they've been dropping, and I'm a lot more interested in Charlie's story than I have been in the past. So
like ever.
Yeah. Well, and then she also brings up kind of like this cool question, and it's the classic question, it's destiny versus fate. Like, do we really control our own destiny, or is our fate predetermined? And that's her whole reason for destroying the loom, is that she felt that everybody needed to have the opportunity to control their own destiny instead of, everybody's life being predetermined, if you will. So I like that. It brings in a good age-old question that, many people still debate today.
Yeah, it's a great topic, and it's a good episode for discussion on a whole separate podcast. I think, you could really argue both points, and you could examine your own life. Have things happen because they're fated to happen, or have you been in control and you're destined to do these different things? Like it's a cool discussion to be had.
It is.
I like it.
It is. Yeah. So the thing with the loom, we were right. I think we theorized that the pieces to the loom are now all back in one universe because Crisis merged everything down. So we were correct. Charlie confirmed that, which was awesome.
Yeah. And I believe the sisters are looking for the pieces. They're trying to find it all and put it back together. I'm guessing.
I'm guessing, yeah, because, they probably want to continue weaving people's fates or whatever it is that they're doing. So
yeah, but I wonder if that creates a massive conundrum, though, because if they are weaving people's fates and are in complete control, how does that tie into our time travelers?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How does that work?
Well, right now, as long as they don't ever put it back together, then it's fine, because Charlie did say she destroyed it thousands of years ago. So that would be pre-legends, presumably.
Yes, true.
So
very true. I wonder if we're going to see the sisters. Is this going to be a main storyline? Is Charlie going to suddenly take over our main plot line and we're going to see the sisters, or are the Sisters of Fate going to be our ultimate end bad guy?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because they're connecting it all in with Astra, because John wants to use the loom to change her fate, which means it has to be put back together.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It seems like it's culminating all together to be, that'll be the final end game, is the loom and the Sisters of Fate and...
Yeah, and Astra and Natalie and how that all plays together. Yeah.
Which is okay, because we've said we don't want, or at least I did anyway, I don't want this week-to-week episode, villain of the week, encore of the week kind of thing. We have no underlining story, no overarching plot line that has a main villain weaving something in the background. If this is the way we're going, I think it's cool. So far, like this whole idea with the Greek mythology, I'm definitely more invested in that than I ever was last year with the magical creatures. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a good way to go, especially it gives us back to the Mollis feel, which they carried that throughout a season very effectively. It was only in the finale we were let down. So.
Yeah, well, Mollis was a big letdown, though. They didn't finish it properly. Even aside, even if the blue thing wasn't there, Mollis still was a little bit of a epic failure in the end, because he just
the blue
didn't live
thing.
up to the season hype. But anyway, let's talk about this one point and get something out of the way. You did mention an opening monologue, and that is Bayrod and Charlie.
Ugh.
And I'm just going to say, nope. CW, what are you doing here? Why do you need sexual tension on this show, on every show? There's nothing to buy into between these two. There's nothing to believe or even care about, because we don't know Bayrod. We do not know this character. He's been shoved in our laps. We don't know him. We're not connected to him. Yes, we think he's funny, but this actor, this person, this character, there's no depth to him because we don't know him. They just planted him as one of the main characters of the show out of nowhere. And Charlie, who just hasn't been around at all and has had no background or history until this episode, really, she's a shapeshifter. Big deal. Yeah. There's nothing there to believe. It makes no sense at all. And I just, the tension, that saying, you can cut the tension with a knife. Pff, you could blow this tension away just by, there, gone. No tension between those two. Yeah,
no, I did not care for this at all. And I did not like that the entire episode kind of centered around it. So that's all I really want to say about that.
Yeah, it's, yeah, that's it. Good, done.
Done. Okay.
All right, so Genghis Khan checks off one of our coins that we did see on the list.
Yes, he does. So I don't know who we're going to see in our next episode, which is in 2 weeks, but we shall see. We still have 5, quote, hidden coins, and then, these other 8 that we were able to see. So we'll see what they do with them.
They better improve on this idea, because it's falling flat.
This episode fell flat for me.
Just the whole idea of these encores is falling flat. They're not living up to any of it, and it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
So if they can take the storyline and change it to this Sisters of the Fates and stuff, then I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's get into our quotes of the week. That's something fun.
Yeah.
Shape out an eagle!
And what was your winning funny quote from last week?
Feel the heat.
Mick, are you feeling all right?
My stomach hurts. I can't eat. I can't drink. I think Ellie gave me an STD back at the reunion.
Initiating scan.
Those are not symptoms. Those are feelings. Mick, I think you're developing a crush.
Is that when you whiz and it hurts?
No. It's biology's way of telling you care about someone else.
Dr. Palmer is correct. The results of my body scan indicate that you do, in fact, like her.
That one won by
All
a
right.
landslide, which is not surprising.
Did it? Okay. Mick always does.
I know.
Well, what did you find this week?
All right, we're going to start with naivete.
I don't get it. They used to be best buds.
Oh, there's only one explanation. E and Charlie went to Pound Town.
Ew, gross. Wait, what?
Moan Zone? Smash City?
Ava. They had sex?
Yes.
The-
Naive Ava.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes. I had a really hard time with funny stuff this episode. I will say, but that was pretty funny.
Still pretty funny. Well, what's your second one then?
Shut up, princess.
Your shape-shifting friend said you need to tell your team that I'm here.
And I told her I'm on my beer break. Now shut up, princess, and listen.
Yeah. That's all we got of Mick this episode, too.
That was his one and only scene. So I felt it deserved an honorable mention.
Awesome.
All right. Well, what did you pick? Well, I guess you didn't. Well, maybe you did pick it. I don't know. What was your winner from your serious scenes last week?
I don't remember which one I voted for, but the winning one was Shared Lessons.
You know, everybody screws up.
Not you.
Me? I feel like I'm screwing up all the time.
You were so on mission. You crashed an A-list party in a pantsuit and threw yourself into a fountain.
See? It's a perfect example.
No, it was amazing. You didn't care what anyone thought. You were just being you. I've been trying to get people to like me for so long that I've forgotten who I really am. I have millions of followers, but 0 friends.
You got one.
Really?
Come on.
Well, as your friend, I have to tell you, no more pantsuits. You're better than
Deal.
No more pantsuits.
No more pantsuits.
That was a good one.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm going to kick it off this week with scenes that we talked about. The only good stuff I could find was with Constantine and the boys. So this first one I'm calling Make It Count. And it's when Ray and Gary were having trouble not being able to help John. And they were just in the kitchen preparing food and stuff. And John comes in to spend his last few minutes with his friends.
I just feel so helpless, you know?
Me too, Gary.
If he has to go, I want him to be at peace.
Well, that's not his style. John's gonna go out the way he lived.
Like a bloody wanker, eh? You know, it occurs to me that I might owe you two a bit of an apology.
We accept.
Okay. Go on, sit down. All right, okay, you're hurting me. Go on. Sit down. Stop bloody fussing, will you? You know, I can't remember the last time this room was used as an actual kitchen.
Well, there's roast in the oven. It'll be ready soon.
Did I ever tell you both about the time I met the ghost of Winston Churchill?
Yeah. See, for me, it was just a nice moment. John, for all intents and purposes, he is dying, and he's just that the bulldog told him, go spend some time with your buddies. These are the first friends you've ever had. So, and I just like that he's agreeing to that, and he wants to spend his last moments. And yeah, it was nice. It was just nice. Just a nice scene. It was
a good scene. I like the ending shot with them all sitting at the table. That was good.
Yeah. And then not long after that one is the next one that I chose. This one's called I Go My Own Way. And it's when the same trio shares one last toast before John poisons himself. A little bit heavier, this one.
No, I'm all right. Now, how about a toast, eh? No. Oh, of all the ways that I thought I'd go, decapitated by a demon, eviscerated by an elemental, I wouldn't have picked being alone with my mates. You know, I just wish I had more time with you lovely idiots.
Well, you're not dead yet, John.
No, but I will be momentarily. John Constantine. He always goes out on his own terms. John?
And that he does.
He sure does.
See, now again, I just, there's something about the three most, the unsuspecting people you would ever guess would build a friendship with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Gary is the ultimate nerd and fanboy of everything. And Ray is this super intelligent Boy Scout creator guy, and John's just super dark into demons and stuff kind of guy. These three guys live in completely separate worlds, and the fact that they can find a way to get together and develop a friendship, and John's actually able to open his eyes and acknowledge that, and just hearing him say, of all the places I thought I'd die, at least I didn't think I'd be doing it over drinks and dinner with my mates, and I wish I could spend more time with you. I like that for him. He's acknowledging it.
Yeah.
As people often do, people at their time of death, they have a lot of realizations and a lot of, regrets and stuff. So I just like that he's realizing this in his final moments, and it's nice. It's good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Good scene.
Now, I have a bonus scene, and I'm undecided if we should include this in our voting pool or not, but this one is kind of half mine and half yours.
Oh.
Because it's a serious moment. I'm calling this one Back to Life, and this is when John's clock is rewound, sending him back to the living. Now that scene, like I said, it really took me back. It was like, whoa, that was intense. Mm-hmm. But then, moments after it happens, was the funniest scene in the entire episode for me. I burst out laughing, and I rewound it and played it again, and me and Patty Spivak were just chuckling at it, because all of it, how many times has John died and come back to life, died and come back to life, and poor Gary has been there the whole time, and when this final time they thought he died, poisoning himself, he face down in his plate on the table, and he gets resurrected again, and poor Gary's like, I can't take this anymore. And you just listen to him, and I don't know, it's just Gary. He was priceless this episode. I think he was my favorite part.
He was good. He was good.
Just listening to him say, I can't take it anymore, I burst out laughing. So anyway, here's that scene.
You can really bring her back? Answer me!
I can fix everything.
I'm glad that hurt. Tick-tock, John. I can kill you anytime I want.
can't take this anymore.
It's a little funnier with the visual, but yeah, just poor Gary because he loves John. I mean, he's in love with him as a buddy, and he's got a bit of a crush on him. It just, you can't imagine what that must be for him, watching someone he cares about so much die, come back to life, die, come back to life. It just made me laugh.
I know. It was, I know.
And they did share a kiss in this episode too.
They did. I know. Oh, and it was cute.
Awesome. Well, that is our quotes. Jess will get those up for you guys, and yeah, have fun voting.
Yay.
It's time for feedback.
Feedback.
Holy Twin powers, activate!
All right. Take her away, Harley. Kicking it off with an email from Daryl Washington.
All right. Daryl says, the AV Club review gave this episode an A. I wish I could do the same, but I had to sit through all the Bayrad Charlie romantic drama subplot. It really felt like just CW drama for the sake of drama, which means, of course, they'll come back to it, unfortunately. Yeah. Bayrad was so mopey, and being this is the first episode we actually see them interact, did not do them any favors in trying to make us believe it.
See?
Charlie is far more powerful than Bayrad, so his being worried just felt unnecessary. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I felt more chemistry between Zari and Charlie than I ever felt between Zari and Nate or Charlie and Bayrad. Everything else was great. Ava was a fierce two-gun goddess, a la Root from Person of Interest. Oh, good call, Daryl. Yes.
I don't know what he's referring to there.
Oh, you need to do yourself a favor and watch Person of Interest.
Yeah, but it's like 8 seasons in already. That's a lot.
No, it's only 5 seasons, and it was completely, and it's done.
Okay.
It ended several years ago, but it's very, very, very good. Anyways, that was Jess' side tangent. Back to Daryl's email. Great mystical item in Genghis' sword, though I am amazed how well Genghis adjusted to a world 700 years past his.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. That little girl Nora brought in must have won a contest or been a producer's kid because she brought nothing to the plot.
No. Yeah. We didn't even mention her. Why was she there other than she had to use one of her wishes to try to save John?
Yeah,
That's
exactly
the only way.
Yeah. Although that scene was like kind of morbidly funny, but I didn't feel like it was funny enough to include as a scene, but I did find it amusing. An AV Club reviewer, Alestra, had a good theory about the cop that Genghis killed possibly being Ryan Choi's mother, which I think is really interesting. I think I can see where the rest of the season will go. John will save Astra by bringing back her mother, and the season villains will be Charlie's sisters. Who would you cast as her 2 siblings? I don't know.
Geez. Yeah, Charlie's, I don't know. I have to think about that. Actresses, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think.
Because we don't know what Charlie really looks like. She refused to show her true form, so we have no idea what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah, that's true. And then he said, he closes, also, I already miss Sari wearing flannel from last week.
Yeah, although she looked good in her skirt and whatever she was wearing this time, she had herself all done up. I don't know who she was trying to impress, but she looked pretty...
Nate?
Yeah, I know. She was hitting on him a little bit. You can see her kind of softening up to him.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome, Daryl. Thanks for that. Next up is ArcPhase 2.0, and he says, greetings, Wonder Twins. Move over, biker gangs, because the new thing is scooter gangs. Doesn't that sound so menacing?
No.
Scooter gangs. Who would have thought Genghis Khan would be able to adapt and lead his own gang after digging 700 years to get out of his tomb? Quite fluent in English as well. Yeah. And it looks like we are back to magical weapons again. This time it looks like they got to keep the Hell Sword, so let's see if they will try to use it again for future encores. Oh, did they keep the sword? Charlie had it in her hand after she stabbed him.
Maybe.
I didn't see where it went after that.
I didn't either, but I would assume that they do have it. Yeah, it's a good point.
Well, it's a pretty darn cool sword. I like the prop they got for that.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be an easy solution to get rid of them, but there is only so many cells on the Wave Rider that the Legends could cram these encores into. What? They don't even have cells. They keep just using that force field thing, don't they? Like, where else are the Where are the other guys? Well, I guess there's the cell that we saw.
The rest are dead except for Rasputin, who's in jars.
In jars, right? Okay, so yeah, but there's the cell that they've held Savage prisoner in, and when Mick was going bad, that square kind of jail cell they have.
Yeah, does that exist anymore?
I don't know. Yeah, we haven't seen it really, but yeah, right now we're just seeing the force field in their science lab, basically.
Yeah, I think when the Wave Rider got an upgrade, that prison cell went bye-bye.
All right, well, he goes on. Ava had a really cool slow-motion action scene in the restaurant that was really well done, in my opinion. And with Nate scootering, oh my god, this word is getting created. Scootering in full steel to end it. Was surprised, though, that Genghis Khan walked away from the standoff with Charlie and Bayrod and not tried to kill them there.
Yes,
also, did Charlie...
that bothered me. Sorry.
Yeah. He should have... I mean, it's Genghis Khan. He would have killed them if knowing who he is.
Yeah.
Also, did Charlie really think that shapeshifting into Genghis Khan right in front of everybody would fool anyone? After watching this episode, is it true that we have not seen Charlie and Bayrod this whole season till now, and we now know that they have a thing? That's exactly true. Mm-hmm. That's why nobody believes it. Mm-hmm. They also spun Charlie's character into one of three fates. Ah, you're wise with your words there. Haha. Clotho, who uses the Luma fate to spin people's futures. Based on a search, two other fates are Lachesis and Atropos. Clotho spins the thread of life, Lachesis measures the thread of life for each person, and Atropos was the cutter of the thread.
Oh, there we go. I was close.
Filling it in for us. Once again, this episode does seem to focus a lot on Constantine's story and his attempts at living. I really thought that Astra had his time dialed down to 0 last episode, but I guess not. Had enough time to even enjoy a nice dinner and drinks. It was definitely interesting that despite his abilities to resurrect others in the past, that his own impending death was nearly irreversible. Yeah, I didn't expect Astra to take Constantine's offer of resurrecting her mother, but it worked, and he lives to smoke another day. Yeah. Oh, you are on point with your words this time, Arcphase. Mick was mostly sidelined this episode, but hopefully with Sara back, she will try to drag him in to help more. Also, now it looks like everyone is back together, minus Mona, to find and use the loom to save Natalie. Oh yeah, that's the mom's name. Does that mean the resurrection of the Encores are over, or are they still a thing for the Legends to deal with? Also, the mention of Ray's bucket list makes me think that Ray and Nora will leave the team to live a normal life together and perhaps allow a way for them to come back in the future. Maybe it would be a good time to bring Jax back for a cameo or something too, now that I think about it. That's all for this week. Arcphase 2.0. I wonder if Ray's bucket list has anything to do with them departing. I mean, what was this, episode 6?
Does.
Yeah, his proposal. Yeah, you know what? We only have one more episode with them. Dang it. I guess we'll have to see what happens. Yeah. With that, it better be all about them next episode, because
it is.
Good. I can't get enough of Nora right now. So
I've seen enough of the trailer to know that I think it features them.
Oh, there's already a trailer. Okay, cool.
Well, yeah.
All right, next email is Carrie Johnson.
He says, I'm probably too late, but I just wanted to say I really like the Constantine-Gary-Ray pairing. They offered brutal drama with how Constantine was treating them both, and they offered comedic and truly heartfelt moments in their scenes. Matt Ryan and Brandon Routh really showed their skills.
Yes.
The transitions between the A and B plots were smoother, and you could see the connection to the plots better. To both plots better.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if that was just the story or Katie's direction, but it seemed smoother. That's a good point. It did seem smoother. Mick still needs to do more. I hope he gets the chance for more screen time. Seriously.
Yes.
And I think Katie had good directing choices. If she gets to do it again, I hope that won't mean she's sidelined for 2 episodes. Until next time, Legendaires.
Yeah. And you weren't too late, Gary. I mean, we do have our official deadline of, was it Wednesday by 9 p.m. Eastern or something?
Yeah, just Wednesday.
The truth is that I don't get home until about 6 o'clock on Thursdays, and we record at 7 o'clock my time. So if you send an email or voicemail in at any time during the day or right before the time I get home, chances are I'm going to get it and I can squeeze it on the show. That's the truth, but we do have an official deadline just to hurry everybody up.
Yeah, and Martin's on Mountain Time too, so that's really 8 Eastern.
Helps you Easterners.
9 Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So I am on MST. All right, guys. Well, thanks for that wonderful feedback. As always, there's something I wanted to say here, Harley. I meant to say this earlier at the top of the show, and now I'm remembering it. And I mean, having to do with feedback a little bit too. We are very excited to kind of let everyone know that our listenership, our downloads have almost doubled this season. And we're not sure if that's because of spreading the word, which we want to ask you guys to continue to do. The word of mouth is the best way to share our show. Posting about it on social media, all those kind of things, whatever. Or I don't know what else it is. I know Jess has been tweeting a lot about it, so maybe people are taking notice that way, but our downloads have almost doubled, and that is fantastic. And it means we've got a lot more listeners out there, and we just want to say welcome to Tomorrow's Legends, everybody. And we're glad to have you all here and tuning in to us. We know, I actually researched today, there is 3 other Legends podcasts out there that we are in, I guess you could say, competition with, but there are three other active podcasts that I looked, and they all released episodes this week. So they're active. So that's what we're up against. I'm just very appreciative that you guys have chosen to come over with us and listen to us. Maybe you listen to all of them, who knows, but still you're here with us and we appreciate that.
Yeah, we like to have a lot of fun with our show. And even though I in particular was a little bit down on this episode, we normally try to do our best to focus on the positive moments. So hopefully we were still able to do that throughout this episode.
Well, you are Harley Quinn. I mean, every once in a while you're going to be your true self. So it was my chance to try to pump you up a little.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And no one wants to listen to a podcast where the hosts just rant and go on and just tear the show apart. I've been there, not like doing it, but being like a listener, and it's not a good look. So
yeah. Well, and that's what I think a big difference is between our show and the others, because some of them are either, I've listened to them all myself, and some of them are so surface, they don't even dive into any depth of discussion at all, or they just rant, or they don't even talk about the show. Or why do you call the Legend show? We're not even really talking about it. I don't know. Yeah. I think ours is the best, and I'm just glad you guys are here. I welcome you all, and we would love to hear from some of our new listeners, since there's so many of you. Like get involved in the feedback, because it's great to hear your thoughts and ideas and what you think. And how you do that, listen to this.
If you would like to be part of the show, you can send in feedback to tomorrowslegends@gmail.com, spelled with 1 R. You can also reach us on Twitter at Tomorrow's Legends, also with 1 R. Join our Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/Tomorrow's Legends and become part of the community.
And that wraps us for tonight.
All right.
Woohoo. So remember what Harley told you at the beginning. No episode next week. No new episode that week.
No new episode. So we'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So everybody have some good time off. I don't know what we're going to do. I guess we got nothing to talk about next week.
I'm going to be at a conference, so.
Oh, you're going to be busy working. People have asked us if we're going to do a rewatch of season 2. What do you think of that idea for the summer coming up?
Yeah, we should totally do it. Yeah.
Because that's when we had our trio of villains, Reverse Flash and Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlin, and that was a lot of fun. So
it was a lot of fun, and maybe it would help us continue to appreciate the evolution of our show.
Maybe so. Well, it's something to think about. If you guys had any requests or ideas, just let us know. And don't forget to check us out on Twitter at Tomorrow's Legends, at Justin Atlanta, and at CyberTiger17. If you are into Star Wars, guys, I have got my Mandalore podcast talking about the Mandalorian, but right now we are covering the new Clone Wars season. It's 7th and final season, and that's what we are covering right now as fun bonus episodes. So check out the Mandalore. That's all I got for you. This is The Flash, signing off.
And this is Harley Quinn. I'm out.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast Network.